Arfa, you're very welcome to this conversation. I'm so glad we've finally had a chance to meet face to face. How have you been? Let me start from that.
Fantastic. Self-isolation or self-paralysis of life, both in personal and professional circumstances, has really been an eye-opening reflection of where I am and where I want to go in. So this time, I think, is a gift, and I'm hoping that I can come out with brighter colors at the end of this phase.
It's great that you're mentioning how it has impacted you into self-reflection. This circumstance or this situation was not in our powers. It's nobody. When nature takes over, you have to step back. But what you do with your time can really be a game changer. So it's amazing that you are using that as a time to understand what your future path is going to look like. So tell me a little bit more about your family. How has that impacted your family or your day-to-day?
Initially, when the whole messaging came out around the COVID-19 pandemic paralyzing the corporate life or the professional life, the first question that comes to mind as a mom is, what's going to happen about the kids? If we're being mandated to work from home, how are we going to function with having kids at home and doing business as we normally did? But the blessing in disguise came around when the kids were mandated to stay at home. So now it's juggling between developing best practices for the kids as well as myself in regulating life and a continual progress curve. Nothing has to come to a halt. We have to change and pivot as fast as the world around us is changing, and find that fine balance between life and make it work for you. So trying and testing it out. Sometimes you have kids popping in while you're doing conference calls. Sometimes you have them coming in when you're typing out an email and you totally lose count of, no, put the milk in the fridge, and you forget what you're supposed to type in your email. So it's a part of life. I think I'm not the only one. There are many of us that are juggling to find the equilibrium, but so far so good.
Which is amazing. In fact, a few people, even before you have brought that aspect up, that it's acceptable now to have your kid drop by or a family member walk around while you're on a call, because that's the new normal, and we are kind of learning to go with that, which is interesting. But what about work? How are you structuring your work around your day?
My calling has been dedicating a space to work as one-stop shop. The fact that I don't have a home office, but I've dedicated a space away from the hustle bustle in the house, where I have my station lined up, where I come down to business. I make sure that my routine is regimented and disciplined. If work means being able and ready to answer your business calls at 8:30, then that's how it's going to be. So getting up and changing and being mentally and physically prepared to start the day hasn't changed at all. It's just the dynamics that has changed. You're no longer walking into the office or into your cubicle. You're walking down the stairs and into your home office. But I think stimulating that environment and keeping it regimented with discipline and consistency has really helped me keep my day prioritized and organized. Taking lunch breaks, getting up for coffee. I can't have enough coffee at home. Maybe overuse of coffee as well. But it has its perks, and obviously it comes with a lot of challenges when you're trying to balance the external stimulus that's in the house, which is obviously uncontrollable.
Again, this is a conversation that I've had with most other guests who have spoken to me, but I want to ask you as well. Does that change anything, especially if you are somebody who offers career advice? what kind of advice are you offering to your clients and your audiences? Do you use that as an example for job search? That connection, that structure that you have right now, working from home to translating into the lives of job search people who are in the home process?
Absolutely, it's conforming to a changing platform that you didn't anticipate. Nobody forecasted this. We didn't know that we were going to head into a lockdown, and we were given 24 hours to roll down our business out of the office and into the virtual setting, and we adapted. And the earlier we adapted, the better we became in providing seamless business continuity to the clients that we serve and the employers that we work with. And at this time, my only advice to multiple job seekers that I'm working with is practice discipline and consistency in your life, both in personal as well as professional. If finding a job is your core goal, then dedicate that space to finding a job, which means 8 to 5 or 9 to 5. We've done it. I'm living on a complete change of work style, and I'm making it work for me. And I truly believe if our job seekers can practice that discipline and that regiment in their own job search and take charge of your time, own it. Once you start owning your time, your productivity or your rate of return on your investment is going to be much higher than it is if you let others take over your time.
So what would you say would be one key factor in staying motivated or transitioning this overwhelming situation for job seekers at this point?
I'm a visionary, and I truly believe in when everything around you has come to a halt, you hunt the opportunity. The opportunity exists out there. It's up to you to find it. Nobody's going to knock on your door, but you can go knock on doors, break them down, and find what you're looking for. So really, it's the mental mindset and the go-getter attitude that is going to get you past this gray cloud that everyone's in. How are you going to stand apart when the storm is over? That lies in your own hands.
It's interesting. I call it taking ownership. And you exactly explained what that means. It does not, it is a reflection on, irrespective of what the situation is or the scenario is, you keep a grasp on your actions and you continue to perform business as usual.
Absolutely.
Staying focused, staying grounded. So wonderful piece of advice, Arfa. I really appreciate the point you made. What have you been noticing in the community? Have you noticed any acts of kindness that have caught your attention? That anybody you would want to give a shout out to?
I think in the business industry, I'd really like to give a huge round of applause to a local company in Kitchener by the name of Inksmith, who are manufacturing face masks and devices for the healthcare frontline providers. The company is a startup run out by a couple of millennials. The way they have run to the call of action and provided not only economic growth for their own business, but provided employment for those that are looking for employment where no one is opening their doors. So community collaboration, providing that bridge between helping out and also mobilizing their own business in the time of need is fantastic. I also want to give a shout out to our local grocery chain franchise owners and corporate stores. They are working 48 hours a day. I don't even know how they do it. Stabilizing their workforce, keeping the health check in place, and yet being able to provide food on our tables. I surely don't know what we would do without those folks out in our local communities. So shout out to those that are still working in the frontline industry at this point.
Which is so true. Without the people who are getting the food and the supply chain going, we would be so handicapped. It would practically become more difficult than it already is to survive, because not everybody has the luxury of stocking up. There are people who who do their groceries on the go. It really makes a difference if there is somebody at the store who's making sure that those what do you call they have stocked up, and they have the things going over there. So tell me a little bit about yourself now. What kind of people do you serve on a day-to-day basis? Because yes, we have known each other for a while, but we don't actually have not had the opportunity to talk about that.
I've been with Employment Ontario, or within the realm of employment scope for the past 5 years, and we serve a huge spectrum of clients, anywhere aged from 15 to 82. Anybody that's looking for employment. 45% of our caseload is newcomers, foreign trained professionals. Most of them are brand new immigrants within the last 5 years of their entry into the country. But we also deal with a lot of folks that are now looking for rebirth. What do I do? I've been let go from an employment that I had for the past 15 years. I don't know how to rediscover myself. So folks that are in transitional, folks that are trying to find their calling, or those that have lost their jobs due to automation or artificial intelligence taking over their skill set, are now in a phase where they are exploring and rediscovering what is out there. How can you help me? Am I still employable? What will I be making in terms of the next 5 years versus what I was doing for the past 20 years? So it's a huge spectrum of clients that we serve, age as well as skill set. And it's a fantastic industry to be with, because the high that you get when you see somebody broken and lost coming into you and looking at you for hope as if you're the job fairy, which we clearly aren't, but then channelizing them to the right resources, to the right community partners, right bridging programs, and then finally right employers, to seeing that graph go high and then actually materialize into what it is that we're looking. I think it's just phenomenal.
So given the scenario at this point, what would be 3 pieces of advice that you would give your clients, or for that matter, anybody who is in the process of job search?
I think before you start your job search journey, I'm a big believer in self-assessment and finding out who it is that you are. Once you've identified who it is that you are, what makes you unique, you'll be able to find out what you have that you can offer to the employer. Mm-hmm. Set yourself apart. Do your own SWOT analysis before someone else does it for you, and know where your strengths lies, and go after those opportunities relentlessly. Don't let anyone tell you that I'm not hiring. Don't let anyone tell you that only apply online. That's the only way that we're going in. You look at the opportunities yourself and you go after the target, whether it's using LinkedIn, it's using social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. There are huge portals that you can use to showcase your brand once you've identified that. So if you're a job seeker and you want to make it in this competitive market where there's everyone looking for a job, know your brand first. The better you know your brand, the better you know yourself, the better you'll be able to portray it to those that are looking to hire somebody with your skill set.
Great information there. So structuring yourself, knowing what value proposition you are bringing to the table, and then making sure that you're strategically reaching out to the opportunities. You are such a giving person. I see you sharing wealth of information, resources, constantly over multiple platforms, right from LinkedIn to Twitter. If you had a magic wand, what would you ask for yourself?
Peace. At this point, it's just peace. There is so much out there that can inflict pain, misery, anxiety, and anguish. if truly I would be granted a wish, all I want is just peace.
Wow, that's really grounded. I must say, that's really grounded. Wonderful. I guess we could all wish for peace. We could all wish for that calm, that composure that would take over the stress and the anxiety and the depression, and just we could just bathe in it, the peace and the calm. That would be just so amazing. You've been amazing with giving resources and sharing information. What would be your last giveaway as a gift to people who are listening to us, that they can take back, absorb, and apply to their life?
I think my only message to the viewers or those that are looking to find ways, whether it's job seekers or transitional applicants at this point, is happiness is really a choice. So own it. It's up to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you're very right. The choices you make are completely yours, which is a phenomenal message, I would say. You can only control your own actions and your own personal experience. You cannot control the environment. So why not take charge and do what we can do? That's a beautiful thought. I'm very grateful to you for making time, Arfa. It's been wonderful speaking to you, and I hope we can continue to get together on many more such chats. Once the health advisories are over, maybe we can even meet personally. So thank you again, and
absolutely.
It's been wonderful.
And thank you for having me. Thank you for thinking of me and reaching out. Truly appreciate it. And I really hope that the connection keeps going beyond our Zoom case conferencing.
Please make sure to like and subscribe and ring the notification bell to keep updated with all our videos. Thank you.